Information is power. If you don't have the information, one cannot seize power.
Yes, we are against the state of Israel.
You're against the state of Israel?
Yes, we believe, the Jewish belief is against the state of Israel.
Are you for the real return of the real children of Israel?
We believe that all Israel need to be returned to the Palestinians.
Do you know that the black man in America is Israel? That he's Jews? Do you know that?
Yes. Yes.
Can't nobody stop what the Most High put together. We gon' see. In times. Serpents lurking, watchers watching, Yasharala stay on point. They lurking. We under the covenant, we ain't got no other choice. Gird your loins up, armor up, cause it's time for war. We the generation that's gon' get on one accord. Serpents lurking, watchers watching, Yasharala stay on point. We under the covenant, we ain't got no other choice. Gird your loins up, armor up, cause it's time for war.
I don't know how far back, and I don't know what country in Africa I'm from. I'm not an African American. I'm an American.
You're not even American. You're not even African American. You're not even American. You're not even African American.
You're not even African American.
You're...
Do you know how many blacks in America have been lost to Islam? It's outrageous. That's not your tribe. Your tribe is Judah. Muhammad's tribe enslaved you. Why would you convert to Muhammad's tribe when you're of King David's tribe? Don't convert to the tribe that enslaved you and then sold you to Ashkenazi. Ship merchants. More black Negroes have been lost to Islam in the 20th century than any other believing, Bible-believing group. It's outrageous because they don't want you to know who you really are and what tribe you're from, but you're not from Muhammad's tribe. Never were. You are a regal Negro class from the royal house of Judah.
How do I say this? The entire Bible is about black people. Not only was Jesus black, but every character in the Bible seems to be black too. Yeah, Zephaniah and Jeremiah and Jebediah, those all aren't white people names, okay? And Jesus wasn't some tan, partially melanated Middle Eastern person either. I'm talking straight up black dude, okay? Even in the book of Revelation, when you get the vision of Daniel, he's describing someone with feet like burnt brass and white woolly hair, and we've got the deep running water voice with the red eyes, and you guys, he's black. The Jewish people are black people, like Kanye was right. And those people yelling at the park dressed in purple about black people being the real Hebrew Israelites, they're right, okay? Like, anytime you see the word Hebrew or Israelite or Jew in the Bible, in your mind, you got to replace that with black person. So the whole Bible is going to make a lot more sense to you once you start reading it like that. But you need to let this get settled in your heart now before you get up there. So, I mean, they were literally whipping him on his way to get crucified, you guys. Crucifixion was a punishment, like, for slaves back then, and gladiators, and all the gladiators were black too. Did you know that? Like, you guys, he was sold for 30 pieces of silver. That was the maximum amount of money that a slave could be sold for. Oh, just coincidence? Above his cross it says INRI. They were like mocking him. They were saying it says this is the king of the Jews. They're saying, like, here's the king of the black people, look what we did to him. Why does the KKK burn crosses, you guys? The racist KKK. It's just, black people rejoice. You are God's chosen people. Like, I mean, those are some big shoes to fill, but be honored, like feel good about that. Like, how cool. Anyway, see you later. Jesus was black.
We all know February is Black History Month here in Babylon. So as a Gentile, I'm here to profess, black people, you are Israelites, you are the chosen ones, you are a prestigious people. Your history is in the Bible. In order to better understand why you are Israelites, I'm going to bring forward two witnesses from Deuteronomy 28. And if you're not familiar with it, Deuteronomy 28 outlines the curses of the Israelites for not hearkening unto the voice of the Lord. Now I'll bring forth my first witness from Deuteronomy 28 and 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So, because you didn't keep your end of the covenant, follow the law, statutes, and commandments, you've been cursed. Let's take a look at one of those curses and see if it applies. Deuteronomy 28:66 reads, And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have no assurance of thy life. Now, I don't know about you, I live in America. Black people have no assurance of their life, and it's because you're Israelites.
The ancient inhabitants of the ancient peoples of the Middle East were all different types of black people, different groups of black people. Assyrians were a black people, Persians were black people, Elamites were black people, and Arabs, yes, were a black people. That's why you see Assyrians have depicted themselves with curly hair, curly beard, and dreadlocks. That's why you see Persians have depicted themselves with curly hair and curly beard. And even there are many wall paintings found in Susa in which Persians have depicted themselves with black skin, have painted themselves with black skin. So therefore, Persians were black people, not a so-called Indo-European, They weren't a white people. Why? Because the temperature here in this city goes up to 50 degrees Celsius in summers with a high intensity and a UV index of 12. White people cannot endure this heat. They cannot tolerate this heat. So they cannot be indigenous to this region. Because we semi-white looking people cannot stand this heat. We cannot go outside too much in summers. But how can white people be indigenous to this region? And I don't say this because I'm racist. As you can see, I'm not a black person, and I look mostly like whites than blacks. I just want to tell the truth that the ancient inhabitants of these regions, from Babylonians, Assyrians, Elamites, Persians, Jews, were all black. Please stop whitewashing history.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. And Yahweh shall bring you into Mitzrayim, Egypt again, with ships. And the way of which I said to you, you shall see it no more again. And there you shall be sold to your enemies for slaves and female slaves, and no man shall buy you. And that is what happened to the regal class of the house of Judah. And I want to give you a brief history. I won't go into it too much, but I can't just make that statement because there'll be people that will push back. But I want to give you a brief history on slavery. I was just amazed, I got to tell you. I mean, when you come to America and you talk to people about slavery, you can talk to black people about slavery, white people about slavery, and they'll give you all this history on slavery, and it only goes back to the 16th and the 17th century. And you're like, don't they teach you the history of slavery? Why? Ask the bloody question. Why are they only teaching you the history of slavery as far back as the 16th and the 17th century? Why are they only going that far back? Because they don't want you to go farther back than that, because then you'll actually find out the truth. But from the 16th and 17th century, we'll teach you about slavery. You've got to go further back. And you've got to understand and question, why do they do this throughout the whole of America, in all the public schools? Why do they only go back as far as the 16th and the 17th century to talk about slavery? We've got to go further back than that. Because Islam designed infernal slavery. And then the Ashkenazi Khazars, those who say they are Jews and are not, are the ones that marketed it. And the regal Negro nomads exiled from the kingdom of Judah were the main recipients of it at the hands of the indigenous black Africans. Because you've got to understand, the regal class of the house of Judah came down from Israel, and they came into the land of the black Africans. And the black Africans resented the regal class of the house of Judah in their land, because they had laws, they had customs, they had civility, and they were a regal class of Negro that came down into Africa. And later on, it was the Ashkenazi, the Islamic slave traders as well, that then worked together with the indigenous black Africans to enslave the regal house of Judah. This is what we've got to understand, but you've got to go back before the 16th century to understand the roots of it. So we're going to see, as we dig into this, where this slavery came from, because it was really a system that was very, very well crafted. There was Islamic masters, and there were white Ashkenazi Khazar ship owners. There were the buyers and the sellers. And they're not going to fill you in on all of this, but really you've got a 4-tier system. Number one, you have the Negro nomads that were exiled from the kingdom of Judah. Number two, you had indigenous black African hunters that resented the regal Negro nomads that had come into their territory with their own customs, with their own laws that were different and would not assimilate into their tribal culture. They were their own tribe. They were the regal house of Judah. And number three, you had Islamic trappers that worked with the indigenous black Africans to trap the regal Negro house of Judah. And then you had them sell them to the Ashkenazi ship merchants, along with many Portuguese and British Ashkenazi.
Oh, it is a blessing to know the truth. Because now when I call upon the name of Yeshua, I know those demons are going to run. I know my circumstances are going to change. Because that is the name that is above every other name. And that name is Yeshua. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for taking this long time to be with me and rejoice with me, I hope is what you're doing. Rejoicing that the truth of Yeshua and Yah and you as his people, it's true. And I know you've known it. And I know that it's sometimes it's like, why do people believe me as a white man? But some of that is because of what's been ingrained in your minds as well, to doubt each other. So I'm not this great man, but I'm just a man coming from the people that have taught you lies, coming from the people that has degraded you, coming from the group of people that has lied to you and created this false, and even put in your own minds to doubt each other. I'm coming to say that we've done that. But the truth is, you are his chosen. Yeshua and Yah are the true names of God and his Son. So thank you that I'm grafted in as a believer in Yeshua. And we'll be in touch more and more. So
the wisdom of Solomon in the Apocrypha in the 5th chapter talks about how Jacob, how the heathen is going to be amazed and confounded when they realize that the so-called black man is that chosen line. You know, in the 5th chapter, I'm getting ready to read some verses here. You know, it's going to be amazing. You aren't going to be able to comprehend it, and you're going to be in anguish and dismay and shock. How could it be that this so-called black man who's been terrorized over here for 400 years and all over the earth, really, in the four corners of the earth, how could it be? Let's read about it.
Well, you acknowledge who the real Israelites are, huh?
So let me ask you this. Look at this right here. Tell them what you're doing, David, Brother David.
I'm just a minister for the Lord, and these are the actual Israelites, ancient Israelites, depicted in Egypt, tomb walls. These are Assyrian captives. I believe these are probably Levite priests because their hair is cut a certain length. They
Look at
also
those
have
black
their hair in
images.
locks.
Look at those black images. Who's that? Daniel wrestling with that lion? With that black skin and woolly hair?
I don't know. I wonder if that's maybe a man in an early Christian in a Colosseum.
No, that's David. They said he wrestled with lions.
Okay. Well,
hey, but look, let me ask you this. Who are the Israelites, right? You see that?
The ancient Israelites are those people that were taken into slavery through Atlantic slave trade and scattered through all nations of the world.
Right, okay.
It says, it's I think verse, chapter 3, it says, כי אז הפוך את העמים, אל העמים, שפה ברורה, I will flip the nation's language to one language, לקרוא כולם בשם אדוני, that we all call in the name of God, לעבדו שכם אחד, to work him with shoulder by shoulder, meaning our shoulder literally mean will be together. And what we will do, we will carry the name of God. Now, look where it's going to happen here. It says here, מעבר לנהרי כוש. Kush is a name for Africa, specifically for Ethiopia. It's come from the word Kushi in Hebrew, black, the land of the blacks. But here it says past, not in Kush, beyond Kush. This word beyond in Hebrew, me'ever. What do you hear here? Ever, ever, ever is the word Hebrew, Ivri. There is a linguistic clue here. Me'ever, you will bring the Hebrews. Me'ever lekush. Why? Because they're scattered. They're all over. They're going to come from all over. Over. What is south of Ethiopia? Zambia, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Mozambique. We can expect it. We can expect it. And here it says, Me'ever lenahar, atari bat putzi. And that is important. This is an ambiguous words in the Hebrew Bible. Where is atari bat putzi? Nobody knows. It is ambiguous place. So the rabbis came and they say to us something important. They say it's representing a region. A region. I believe it's representing all of Africa. And here it says, Yuvelun. Again, what is the word Yuvelun? Minchati, they will lead my gift. But the word lead, Yovel, is also the Hebrew word Jubilee. You see another hint here. When the Jubilee will happen? Jubilee will happen when you have an awakening in Africa. That's when it's, and where are they going to head to? And said, lot of voshi. They will be not ashamed. I believe today there is a problem with shame in the African American community. You know why people have shame? They have shame when they don't know their identity.
What? Hold on, stop right there, Rabbi. I want you to stop right there. And I want you to rewind and say what you just said about not knowing your identity, because there's a big fight going on. You're here in America. I don't know if you understand this side of it, but there are many African Americans who are waking up to their identity, who they are, but they're also receiving a pushback from the other side, from the Christian community, about their identification of who they are. So I want you to touch on that again, just in case people didn't hear that, what you just said, and how important that is.
Look, I'm going to say it before. The reason today, I have a lot of friends in the church who are African Americans, even white churches, and they tell me something is wrong. Of course something is wrong, because the church is not your home. It's never intended to be your home. Your home is the house of Israel. Why would you feel wrong? Why would you feel right in a stranger home? This is not your real home. And today we have a calling as Jews to invite Africa. And when Africa comes, believe me, African American will come, because Africa is the root. We heal this relationship with Africa. We need a messianic revival. It's happening. All of the African American, and there is anti-Semitism inside African American. You know why? Because they don't know their identity. They don't know where and where they come from. Sorry, you're not from Africa. You are from Africa, but you have a deeper root. And your root is in the house of Israel.
It is very important that you understand who the true Hebrews are, because that end-time prophecy, lots of it, surround these individuals. I am a Gentile. I know exactly who I am, but it seems to be the one group of people in the world that have been, by the rest of the world, tried to be dumbed down to the fact, or completely erase their history from history, is the African American people, so-called, that are scattered throughout the nations. Now, please understand that not every single black person is a true Hebrew, but it is those that are under the curse of Deuteronomy 28. And you'll be able to tell by the time that I'm done giving you this information, this video, who the true Hebrews are, and you may be one of them.
Hello everybody. This video is to show you who the true Hebrews or Jews are, or Yehudim. The people in Israel right now are not Jews. They're Khazars. Your true Jews, or your true Yehudim, are the so-called black person, or African American, as you like to call them sometimes.
I've been reading all the comments, good and bad, and I just feel like there's a few things maybe I need to clarify, so I just wanted to do that. First of all, I wanted to let you know that I was not trying to teach in my video. I know that the women are not supposed to be teaching. I mean, the Bible says that let the women remain silent in the churches. So when you see these women preachers, I really don't know how they justify that, because the Bible's pretty cut and dry. So I'm sorry if I offended anybody. I'm sorry if it came across that way. That's not what I was trying to do. All I was trying to do was just get this information that I've learned out there. So like I said, I'm sorry if I offended anybody. That was not my intention. Like I said, I was trying to get this out there to everybody. And as far as waking up the white race, I'm not sure about that, honestly, because the comments that I have gotten from the white race have been pretty bad. People call me every name in the book, telling me to go kill myself, telling me to get AIDS and die. I mean, that's just the most horrible thing that you can say to any human being. So It's kind of discouraging actually, because I cannot be the only white person on the face of this earth that feels this way. I mean, there's got to be somebody else out there.
What I'm about to tell you is that the Israelites, the so-called Jews that are living in Israel today, are not the real Israelites. The real Israelites are the black and brown people of the world. What happened was when the black people that were the true Israelites and the brown people that were the true Hebrew Israelites fell from God's word as it is written, were cursed. So what happened was Rome came and sacked that land, and they all fled. They went out all around the place, all around up north, south, east, west, but mostly down into Africa. They lived there for a little while in the wilderness until they were taken by slave ships to the Americas.
Shalom to everyone, to the children of Israel, to the 12 tribes, to the saints of the Most High. I got this book when I found out the truth of who the true Hebrews were. It wasn't enough for me to just know. I felt it was my duty to go in and truly study their history and what they endured. Because I have a hard time with those of you with white skin saying it's in the past. It doesn't matter. So my question to you, white people, is what are you proud of? What are you proud of? I'll say now, denounce the color of your skin, denounce your flesh. And I'm going to read some out of this book. It's called Into Egypt Again with Ships, A Message to the Forgotten Israelites, Elisha J. Israel. And I recommend it to anyone who wants the truth of who the true Hebrew Israelites are. And this is an amazing book. It's only about 150 pages, but it goes into history, it goes into scriptures. So to those of you with white skin that say slavery doesn't matter, my first question is, if it doesn't matter, why did the white man go through so much trouble to hide who the true chosen are?
Africa has perhaps hundreds of millions of people with this identity right now of being from the people of Israel.
So in South Africa, in many parts of South Africa, you find the Lembas who are actually Hebrews.
Hebrews, so the Lembas claim to be descendants of ancient Israelites?
Not claim, they are.
They are.
Not claim, they are.
They are.
He gon' send his hand. Destruction gotta come, that's how he get us out this lane. The devil working hard, trying to get us out his plane. His sheep hear his voice, so he can't get us out his hand. We gon' trust the Son of Man, blow your winds, Father. Your kingdom coming, we just trying to make it in, Father. Rather we